rankings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills, nights get loud. Big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Sunday and ready to talk about everything happening this weekend in combat sports. Mainly UFC Vegas 118 that went down last night. Not a bad card. Some decent, a lot of decisions in the main card, but there was some good fights. So you can't be too mad. Can't be too mad at it. There was a couple good fights in there, and then there was some decent ones on the prelims as well. So yeah, that event's over. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna recap that and talk about everything that happened throughout the fights in the main card and the prelims, of course. But other than that, a little bit of White House news because we're gearing up for that White House card, getting ready. A week from tonight, we will be right at this time. We're gonna be probably in the middle, near the end of the watch party. So next Sunday, instead of a recap show, you will get a live watch party with 4 of us in here. It'll be me, Clark, Josh, and Patrick. Everybody's been on the show before. Patrick's coming down. It's been a minute since he's been over here, but he finally made his appearance on a watch party a while back. But yeah, it's been a minute, so he's coming down, and we're gonna have a good time for the White House card. It's a historic event. Everybody's excited about it, and then we just have stuff coming up after that with the return of Conor McGregor for International Fight Week, with a bunch of other good fights on that card. It just seems like we have some good stuff coming up, so definitely a lot to look forward to. The fight next week will be starting at 5 p.m. Arizona time, so we'll be 2 hours in at this point. But yeah, I think that means that I got to do a recap on Monday. I just thought about that. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe I'll do it on Tuesday to give myself a day to prep. I don't know. I just thought about that. That kind of threw me off. But that's all right. We'll do a recap regardless, because I'm sure it's going to be, it could be a shitty event. You know what I mean? It could be, because every time we put so much hype behind it, things go wrong. Everyone's worried about the weather. They're talking about possible rain for that weekend, whether it be rain earlier in the day or shit, just rain in general happening. Let's hope not, but there is the slight possibility for that, apparently. So yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, because that's gonna be a little weird for fighting outside. They have the claw, it's covered, but that doesn't mean anything for if it's a crazy rain, downpour of rain or whatever. What's up, 78 Northwest? Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you. I think I usually miss the fight footage you put together at the beginning. Oh yeah. We talked actually, surprisingly enough, we talked about that the other day. Because I think, or last week, because they were asking if I, where I got that footage from. And yeah, that's just some stock footage that, that I put up there just as a welcome screen, just saying, hey, it's about to start. Keeps you entertained, a little bit of music in the background. As you can see, I like having some music going, because even like in this intro part, if I thought about it, I might actually keep the music playing, but I like it, fading out, give me a little bit of time before we start the music in the background. So that's why when we get the visuals going on the screen and we really get into the, the nitty gritty of the fight talks, then I get the background music going. So, but yeah, it's just a little something to keep you entertained. It's like some training footage, getting ready for the podcast to start, getting ready for a fight, little correlation there. So yeah, it's cool, but thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, other than that, it's been a minute since I've updated that welcome screen, but I haven't really found anything worthy of it. I think I extended it a little bit. I changed it up here and there. I appreciate that, 78 Northwest. Thank you, because yeah, I do work hard at trying to make sure that things make sense and flow well and are something to actually look at instead of just, sometimes people just put up a stream starting soon or something like that, which is perfectly fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. And sometimes it's a still image, sometimes it's a moving image, sometimes it's got music, sometimes it doesn't. And all of it's cool or whatever. I just, I put thought into things and then I just put it together. So that was just something I thought was cool. But yeah, other than that, getting ready for this White House card, and there's a lot of talk around it. Just like I was saying, the weather issue. Obviously they talked about the bugs and stuff like that. So this week it's going to be White House heavy, obviously, because the card coming up. I feel like, especially fight nights, every other, like throughout the week and stuff, there's all kinds of talk of things going on social media, things going on about, big events coming up. But this week's going to be full on White House talk, guaranteed. What up, Antoine? How you doing? My weekend was pretty good. Went way too fast, but I even had that extra day off, and I went to the funeral for, the friend of the family that passed away, and that was tough. That was tough. Well, watching all that and having to see the family, just so devastated. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Go pay respects and stuff. She was in the military and everything, so there was, parts of that went down. That was, it was nice to see them, just kind of salute to her like that. So that was good. But then, yeah, my wife has never played golf, like legitimately played golf. She's been to Top Golf. She's been to the driving range. She never really had interest in playing, but one of our friends wanted us to go, and his wife was going to be playing for the first time too. So we went and did that yesterday. And my wife found out why I'm so tired after golf. Because yeah, it was a hot one. It was a hot one yesterday. Like right now the temperature still says 94. I know if Infinity was in here, he'd be telling me how it's like 10 degrees hotter where he is, which is true. And yeah. But when it's hot, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was pretty hot yesterday. So we were out there in the heat, and we didn't even get through the whole 18, but we got through 14 of the holes. I hope he gets life, and I hope he doesn't get to live that life in prison. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know yet. I think I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really looked into that. It's kind of one of those things. If I don't see something I like, I'm going to get mad about. And so I kind of haven't really paid attention to it yet. What up, Tyler? How you doing? Welcome in. Most of any of my attention on that has been just focused on, just getting to the funeral and stuff like that, which happened on Friday. So what's the hottest summer you ever experienced? Oh man, I think it got to it had to have gotten to like 113 or some shit, like maybe even higher. I don't know. I block it out, man. It's so hot. I just try to block it out. So that's just how that goes. Had you lost a friend like that during your actually right after high school, somebody that we kind of hung out with, not close, not super closely, but just somebody we knew in passing, a good acquaintance and stuff like that, passed away right after we graduated. He went on like a graduation trip after we graduated, and I think in London or England, somewhere over there, and got hit by a motorcycle and he passed away. So that was a crazy experience. But besides that, it was just I hadn't really lost anybody until just family members that were had lived their life and just had some health problems and stuff that we that's always tough too. But yeah, yeah, it feels like lately I've been dealing with a lot more of losing people. So but that's what happens when you get older too. Do you have any relatives who are serving long sentences? I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't really know specifically of anybody in jail right now. Except for people that I might have known in the past, but yeah. So anyway, other than that, yeah, so we went golfing yesterday, and then today I just went and visited my sister and brother-in-law and my nieces, and my pops was over there, so went to go say hi to them. And that was it. I did a lot of stuff around the house because, again, I know I said it on Thursday, but I got to go out of town for work tomorrow. So after this, I have to finish packing all my stuff up. So I got to take the things out of here that I need and then pack up so I can be ready for the morning. And then I get on the road in the morning. So you'll see me in with the backdrop up on Thursday, unless something crazy happens, but I don't think it will. We have enough work to get it to keep us busy all week. So I'll be coming back on Friday. So that means the preview show for the White House card will be on Thursday as normal, like usual. I'll just have a different backdrop, obviously. And yeah, it worked last time. We were good to go. So yeah, the stream should be fine and we should be good. Hopefully nothing acts up or anything like that. It's always a toss up, you know what I mean? You go out of town, got to deal with. I actually run things off my hotspot from my phone, which is kind of crazy. I know a lot of people stray away from doing stuff like that, but my phone service is way better over there than their Wi-Fi even. So it just handles things better, and I'm grateful that I have that because I kind of have unlimited like hotspot too on my phone, so I can keep it running and it's good. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed for all that. And yeah, I'll be getting ready once I'm done here. I'll be getting ready for tomorrow, and then I'll be out of here for a week. So a work week, you know what I mean. But yeah, looking forward to that White House card. Other than that, not a whole lot else going on. I'm going to be solely focused on this White House card for Thursday's show as well. If anything big comes up, you know, I'll drop it in there a little bit. But even the only thing extra for besides the recap here today is a little bit of news with the White House card, and that's it. So, you know, I focus on UFC mostly, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, it's such a big card and there's enough to talk about. So it's going to be a lot of focus on the White House card, but I'm sure everybody's going to be used to that for this week. So before I get too much further, let's take a hit of this Noctane Smelling Salts, my sponsor, of course. Gotta love the Noctane. This bottle's been, you know, making my soul leave my body for a second every time I've hit it lately. So gotta be careful, but it is the red cap. It is the most potent. There's a couple other potencies lower than this, but this is the highest, the most potent bottle they have. You can also add scents to it, and so it can smell good as well as be super potent. But it keeps you awake and alert, gives you that quick boost of adrenaline that you need sometimes. Different various uses for it, but I use it a lot just to stay awake and alert, like I said, especially during long drives like I'm gonna have tomorrow. I'll definitely be hitting this in the morning to keep myself nice and alert, and then I do it before the show so I can give them a shout out, use it on the stream, and yeah, wake up and be ready. So here we go. The harsh reaction is only for a second, and I promise it's worth it. Here we go. Oh. It took a second. It took a second, but it was there. Oh, my nose has been messed up since. Oof. My nose has been messed up since I was sick. And like anytime I've hit the smelling salt, it never goes the left side. It always goes the right side because for some reason the left side, my left nostril just hasn't worked. But that time it did. So yeah, gets you nice and awake. And it's good. So Noctane, there's plenty of uses for it. Like I said, you can learn more about it by scanning that QR code on the screen. There's a link in the description below, as always, with all my videos and streams. So you can go check it out. Thank you again to Noctane. What's the longest drive you ever had? Well, shit, this drive to North Carolina was the longest I've ever done. 10 to 11 hours. I think one day we did 12 hours or close to 12 hours. It wasn't full, you know, we had lots of stops. So it wasn't like 12 hours straight, but for sure that trip we just made was the longest I've ever driven. Before that, it had been 8.5 hours or so. So yeah, I've never driven any further than that. When I go by myself for work, I take the least amount of stops as possible. Usually it's just stopping for gas and then I'll use the restroom or whatever while I'm there. But of course we had extra stuff going on with this trip. So yeah, but it didn't go too bad. It was actually decent. So anyway, let's get to what we're here for, and that's combat sports news and the UFC Vegas 118 card that just happened this past weekend. I don't know if you guys all got a chance to watch, but I was in and out on a lot of it, but I went back and watched highlights and stuff as well for anything that I might have missed. But yeah, it was, like I said, a decent card. I was actually, I got to watch most of the main card live. I was in and out, like I said, but I did get to watch most of the main card, and that was good because there were some decent fights. So let's get into it, and we'll get started with what I was talking about with the White House card. And this got put out there today. Last minute lawsuit. We all watched Junior Taffa quit. Oh yeah, that was bad. That the Taffa bros, man, I don't get it. I don't get it with them sometimes, honestly. But we'll get into that right now. But yeah, apparently there's a last minute lawsuit that's seeking to stop the corrupt scheme of the UFC White House event. No problem, Antoine. We'll see you when you get back. But yeah, so of course there's always going to be something, you know what I mean? Because they talk about, everyone's talking about this whole like, oh, who's making it political, who wants to talk about the politics behind this card, and who wants to be upset about it and offended by it, and this, that, or the other thing. And the thing is it's happening. Sure, you could try to make it stop. You can try to stop it like these people are. But like, it's happening in a week from today. I mean, unless you're going to get something, no legal things, unless you have real high power. And what higher power do you have than the president who's putting this on? So I want to know, what kind of high power do these people seem to have that they think they can get this in the week of the event, where the structure's been put up and everything's getting put in place? What power do they think they have to get this stopped? It makes no sense, man. It's just like wanting to get you. It's just clout chasing, it seems like. You know what I mean? I know they're not chasing clout like legitimately, but that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? Because like, what are we doing here? So the details on this are so. In a press release acquired by MMA Fighting on Sunday, who released this report, a lawsuit has been filed by Paul Romero, a retired Air Force sergeant and Vietnam veteran. Thank you for your service, by the way, but I think this is ridiculous a little bit. And Susan Douglas, a longtime civic activist and organizer, both of whom seek to preserve Washington's monumental spaces. I understand, okay, before I go further, what Washington's monumental spaces, I understand that obviously when events, oh no. Uh-oh. Why? Uh-oh. That was not good. Hold on one second. I'm checking something because that was weird. It said OBS disconnected, and it looked like there was it was buffering. So sorry about that if that was buffering. Hopefully nobody left thinking it was over. There's technical difficulties, man. I haven't had those in a while, so hopefully that doesn't keep happening. But everything seems okay now. That was just strange out of nowhere. Anyway, okay, so like I was saying, I understand that, you know, with events like this, you got to worry about trash, vandalism, and just all out, like, literally putting a new structure up on the front lawn. Obviously that's going to change some things when it comes to that space, but I don't understand, like, I don't understand the people that are up in arms, I guess, you know, from any other aspect than understanding the worries about those things, right? So let me continue with what was said. The lawsuit describes UFC White House as a corrupt scheme to hand the White House South Lawn and Lincoln Memorial to a private for-profit sports promoter in violation of federal law. Thanks for bringing this up. I had no idea this was a topic. Yes, everything is good again on the channel. Oh, thank you, 78 Northwest. I appreciate that. It's always good to have somebody let me know that things are going all right, especially after a little glitch like that. But yeah, this is crazy, man. You know, this is something that should have been fought for before everything got put into place. You know, but I guess maybe they're thinking hit them where it hurts at the very end, and and then they'll lose more money. But then you're talking, well, let me keep reading and then I'll get into it. The event scheduled for June 14th was conceived by President Trump and organized by UFC CEO Dana White, a close personal ally of Trump, and will benefit both men financially, writes Samuel T. Ward Packard of the Public Integrity Project, the lead attorney on the case. Trump purchased up to $50,000 in UFC parent company TKO stock earlier this spring, while White's company is selling VIP packages for $1.5 million each, and benefiting from what one TKO executive called the greatest earned marketing tool of all time. Additionally, a weigh-in for fighters is scheduled for the night before and is set to occur at the Lincoln Memorial. Okay, so I mean, that part, I see what they're saying with that part. If this is all true, then I can understand why they think this is corrupt and blah 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 blah. But again, you give no time for anybody to even try to figure this out, because the event's happening in a week from today. So it goes on to say the complaint focuses on a trio of unlawful grounds. The first is a violation of National Park Service agreements, which prohibits sporting events from taking place on federal parklands, and plaintiffs say does not fall under any acceptable regulatory exemption. The second is that the claw, part of the staging setup for the event on the White House lawn, has no congressional authorization, a requirement for building on federal parklands. Lastly, the complaint argues about the potential cost to taxpayers for repairs of the South Lawn. They think they can sue Big Yahoo. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is this is why we can't have nice things. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably what they're saying about the UFC, but here's the thing, man. I get it. You cause for concern with this, that, or the other thing. I didn't believe it was going to even happen. I was just like, how are they going to pull this off? Sure, the president himself is talking about it, but the president himself said there was going to be 8 to 9 fights, and they were all going to be title fights. Now, we knew that wouldn't be true because there's no way they can pull that off, right? But, as things went further, welcome back, Antoine. As things went further, and started getting put together and things seemed a little more serious, then I was like, holy shit, this is actually gonna happen. And next thing you know, we have fights announced and all this other shit. They're just hating on the event. There's no reason the guys should want to stop it. Yeah, and that's it's crazy, man. And I understand where they're coming from with this corrupt scheme or whatever, but those are things that those are things to find later. You know what I mean? Jordy MMA, Pierre Gon prediction. I am worried a little bit for Pineda, and the reason for that is because, and not sorry to sidetrack, but it's a question, and I do want to answer that question, because I will give more in-depth prediction with the preview show next week. But my thoughts as of right now, and we'll see if they change by next week, but my thoughts for right now are that I feel like Gon is dangerous for Pineda in a certain aspect, but I feel like Gon's gonna want to go out there and prove something, and I don't have anything to stand on with that for the most part. I just have this weird feeling that Gon's gonna go out there and really try to put it down, and I feel like there's a big chance that Pineda's going to do what he's done in every other division that he's gone to and taken a championship at. So I was doubting Pineda against Izzy, and he won. I doubted Pineda against Izzy the second time, and he lost, obviously. But then I doubted he could move up a weight class. I'm thinking, okay, he's just running out of there because he got made to look like a fool. And instead he kept persevering, and he's like, you know what, the weight cut's too much, let me move up. That was a smart move. I wasn't sure about it at first. That was a smart move. Moves up there, wins the belt, loses the belt on somewhat of a fluke. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Why'd I just fucking forget his name? Why'd I just forget the name of the guy who beat Pereira for the belt? Damn it. You guys know who I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm not going to stress on it. But, you know, and then he comes back and wins the belt again. And then now he's going to heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like, he has just gone through the progression. So, for me, I doubted him in the beginning. I can't doubt him anymore. So, you know, I feel like he hasn't been knocked out. He's only been beaten by, why can't I think of his fucking name? Who cares? Besides Izzy. So, Ankalaev. God damn it. There we go. I found it. All right. So, I mean, I'm basically, my prediction is Pereira's going to win because I've doubted him too much in the past and he's always come through. And I feel like he's the type of person that can make history like this because of what he's done already. So, I feel like they're doing this because they know Dana is about to gain literal millions of new fans. Possibly, Antoine. We all have Pereira by lighter man's skill. Like the amount of casual fans that they're about to gain is crazy. True. But even in the Izzy versus Alex one, Izzy won the first 4 rounds. It's just Alex turned it up. Yeah, I mean, it was back and forth. It was back and forth. So I think Gon is going to be a very hard first fight. It's going to be hard to move with that weight. I think Gon is way more athletic and agile. Yeah, I mean, I think the speed advantages that Pereira has most of the time, because he just seems to, he's a big guy but has speed, is going to be matched by Gon and his athleticism. And because he is used to carrying the weight and used to being in that weight class, I think that's what makes it dangerous. And that's why I said I feel like it's a dangerous fight for Pereira. And you know, we've seen Poatan now with the weight on him. He looks massive, and some people are saying that that's not a good look with the kind of weight he has on him. But I feel like he's going to lock it in, and it's probably going to look different on the night of. Now, we kind of said that about John Jones, and then John Jones kind of looked in there looking a little flabby, and he's only fighting 7 pounds heavier than he did at light heavyweight. He fought at 240 against Ankh in the rematch. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, but he visually looks bigger. And the weight that he's gained, you know, people think he looks chubbier and like he's gaining like unnecessary weight instead of staying locked in. But if Alex became heavyweight champion, does he stay longer since he's pushing 40? Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know that he's got a ton of fights left, but remember, if he wins, he's only the interim champ. He's not the actual undisputed champion, but it's still history because it still means he has a belt of some sort in 3 weight divisions. I think he's going to look like a machine come fight night. And you know what? I agree with you. I think it's Gordy, right? Jordy or Gordy? But I'm with you, man. I'm rooting for Pereira. Something about Cyril Gane rubs me the wrong way. There's something about him, and it was a lot of what had to do with the way that he handled himself with that John Jones fight and stuff like that. But my biggest problem is that he is athletic and we know what he's capable of, but is he gonna come out like he did against John and just have this absolute animal in front of him that actually looks the part, unlike John, who looked a little flabby coming into heavyweight? So I think Pereira's a different type of guy, and I'm not saying that he would beat John Jones, but I'm saying that you know, people should fear him the way they fear John Jones's abilities. You know what I mean? But maybe I'm talking him up too much this time. I don't know. That's the toss up, and that's the game we play with predictions, right? But that's the walk around weight. He's had this camp the entire fight, and there's a noticeable difference in his physique, in my opinion. Dana said that Alex is the new greatest martial artist of all time if he wins. How do you feel about that? John had the wrestling threat, in my opinion. Cyril is one of the best strikers in MMA. Yeah, I mean, this is why it's going to be fun to talk about it next week. I think Cyril just always fumbles when the bright light's on him. Jordy, that's honestly, that was the direction I was going to go. I feel like Cyril Gane tends to crumble when it's the best time for him to excel. And that's the way I feel. There's a lot of guys like that out there, and I feel like Cyril Gane is one of those guys. When the bright lights are on him and it matters the most, he will fumble. That's the way I felt about him in the past. That's the way I looked at that John Jones fight. If at any point in time you should be considered durable and tough. Okay, sorry guys, I don't know what's going on with this OBS today, but it keeps disconnecting and reconnecting. So let's hope that that doesn't keep happening. I can't like refresh anything or do anything like that because it'll stop the stream, and we definitely don't want that. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of weird, but yeah, let's hope that that stops. I'm gonna just click out of a couple of these tabs I have open just to make sure that something else weird isn't happening. Okay, so anyway, Dana White going to call Islam the GOAT after he beats Ian. Now I feel you, John. Loss sucks for sure, but he should have beaten Francis. He was right there, but he was in the Matrix versus Tom, though. You could see it. He was slipping his punches and everything. Not enough to go off of for me. I know we've said that. I know I've said that to you before, Antoine, but the Aspinall fight, there's not enough to go off of for me. I don't think that you can. Sure, you can talk about it, how he busted up his nose and he wasn't getting hit by Aspinall. We've seen Aspinall, you know, face a little bit of adversity, come back and win. So, you know, I mean, to me, that was a little bit. Yeah, I know Tom's nose. I know that's what everybody says. I get it. I have nothing against what you're saying. I just feel like it's not enough to go off of. It was the first round, Antoine. They were both getting distance. Tom landed a nice left hook, mid-eye poke. The left hook is there for Alex, which is his crazy precision. Yep. Anyone's nose will bleed from 8 jabs. Yeah, but that is the problem, though, Jordy. That's why Antoine says that, is because, yeah, he took those 8 jabs. You know what I'm saying? So, said that Tom was fading. No, but that's their job, man. That's their job to say stuff like that. I don't know. I understand. It's your opinion, Antoine, and that's cool with me. Gone on. Why does this keep happening? All right, OBS, you're pissing me off. What is it doing, guys, for you? Is it just buffering when that happens? And we saw Tom shoot for a takedown and he was not getting it. Cyril was too athletic. Like Tom shot from so far out and couldn't. Yeah, but this was still, I mean, how many minutes in? I mean, we weren't even a full round in. Like a lot of things either happen quickly or take time. And we've seen where, I mean, look at Leon Edwards getting dominated for his entire 4.5. All right, I hope you guys are still there. I hope this doesn't, it's buffering. Yeah, damn it. Okay, we'll work through this. Hopefully, I don't know what's happening, man. It's OBS apparently is the problem, because it says OBS is disconnecting. So yeah, because of Cyril's fingers trying to poke him in the eye. Yeah, so anyway, so for me, the Cyril Gane thing, yeah, like him and Tom, that you can't go off of that fight, because really, if you really want to chalk it up to anything, you can chalk it up to hey, Cyril Gane's a dirty fighter, fucking eye poking the shit out of people. So I don't know that people severely overrate Cyril Gane from his first round. Oh, from his first round success by outstriking Tom by 3 strikes. Okay, yeah. I think people put too much into it, man. That's a fight we have to see again, because we're never gonna know what would have happened in that fight, because Cyril Gane is a dumbass and couldn't keep his fingers away from poking people, and we've seen it too many times before. But Antoine, like, you're missing the point, man. The point that we're trying to make is that there was just so little to go off of, that if we went off of that from everyone else's fights as well, then Leon Edwards should have never beat Kamaru Usman. And what happened at the tail end of the 4th round? He got that head kick knockout, which is why everybody jumped on criticizing him about how he was losing that entire fight. So anything can happen, man. I think that's the thing. So, you know, I understand being being like dead set on a point, but like, I get your point and I know what you're saying, but I don't think it's enough to go off of. All we can do is sit and wait for the rematch. So let's hope it happens. That's what I'm thinking. So anyway, for this White House card, You know, and the reason why this came up is because obviously we're talking about the White House card. Cyril Gane, Cyril Gane's going to be on the card fighting Poatan. So we'll see what kind of a fight he puts up there, because you know, we saw what happened with Jamal Hill and Alex Pereira. When Jamal Hill kicked him in the nuts, Pereira just waved it off and said, "Hey, I'm good," and then he proceeded to knock out Jamal Hill. Now, we are talking in circles, man. You know, I don't think Tom looked fat and slow. I just don't think he looked up to par as usual. But I do think Cyril was looking good in the beginning of that fight. But all of that goes out the window when Cyril Gane pokes people in the eye. I mean, who cares what he was doing in that fight? Because what he did in that fight is he fucked up the entire timeline of the goddamn heavyweight division. That's what pisses me off. So that's why I continue with my stance on how I feel about that fight. Because we're never ever going to find out until they fight again. And then when Cyril Gane looks like shit and loses to Tom Aspinall, everyone's going to say, yeah, but that first fight, if that would have just kept going, sure, blame Cyril Gane though, because he's the one that doesn't know how to not poke people in the eye or kick people in the nuts. You can see massive compilations of him doing that throughout multiple fights of his in the UFC. So I hate to, you know, dog on him that much for that, but it's true. So in the end, the biggest problem with that entire fight isn't who could have done what or why somebody didn't do this or do that or how someone looked. The biggest problem with that fight is that Tom Aspinall got poked in both of his eyes and wound up having to have surgery for both of them, and it fucked up the entire timeline of the heavyweight division. Not to mention the heavyweight division's in shambles already. Yeah, no, I get it, Antoine. Cyril had a good jab. He was getting his legs chopped by Tom, and Tom landed a nice left hook during the eye poke sequence. Yeah, you know, and this is why we keep arguing, or I should say coming back at each other with all the same things, because there's very little that happened in that fight. So there's only so much to go off of, and I think it's not enough to, you know, it's not enough. Frankie Edgar was getting destroyed by Gray Maynard in the first round, and what happened then? Yeah, anything can happen in this game, man. That's why it's tough to bet on. That's why you can never get too happy when your fighter's on top winning rounds, because one sequence can put him out and make him lose that fight. So yeah, but anyway, with this lawsuit, I don't think there's going to be much of it unless they have real evidence, you know what I mean? And of course, Trump purchasing $50,000 in TKO, blah blah blah, and the company selling the VIP packages, all that stuff. Sure, they can claim all that they want, but they're going up against the president, and he's gonna put that shit, he's gonna make that shit take forever, where the event's just gonna happen and he can't do anything about it. Take some fucking head kicks from me right now. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so we got into a crazy discussion about but this is what I'm talking about. There's so much to talk about with the White House card, and this just adds more to it, you know what I'm saying? So talking about Alex and Tom landed a head kick around the guard versus Gane. So oh yeah, you were talking about yeah yeah, the head kick. This is the thing, man. Anything can happen, and we've seen Alex Pereira just do some crazy shit. So that's why I don't count him out whatsoever in this fight, and we'll have to just wait and see, because we are a week away from getting to see that fight, and I'm fucking excited for it. Because look at how much we can talk about just one fight off of that entire card, and there's plenty to talk about with the rest of those fights on that card as well. So yeah, but let's move on to the card that happened last night, and that was UFC Vegas 118. Obviously, I don't think that this lawsuit's gonna happen. Like I said, really in the end, it's gonna take so long for anything to go down legally that the event's gonna happen. I mean, sure, they can continue on with the lawsuit all they want, but the whole point of it, from what it was saying, is that they're trying to get it to stop from happening. So I don't think it's gonna be enough time for that to happen. I asked the AI, the lawsuit does nothing. Oh, okay. Well, shit, that's good. That's good, because I don't think there's any way they can get through it anyway. MMA Ventriloquist dummy. That's a hilarious ass name. Robbed Volkov, by the way, Antoine in the rematch. Oh, like you said, legal things take a long time. Yeah, 100%. That's why I just wanted to cover it because I think it's ridiculous, and I saw it everywhere. And people, when people ask you about these big fights and stuff, they always, when they see those headlines, it's going to be what they ask about. So for me, just covering it makes it burn into my head a little more. So when people come up to me and ask me about it, I'm going to be able to be like, listen, man, there ain't shit going to happen with that. they needed to bring this up like months ago. So yeah, it is what it is. But Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim, if anything, the bad weather report is worse off. Yeah, 60% chance of rain and 40% chance of lightning as of yesterday's report. And I'll tell you right now, the lightning is the problem, because the rain they can fight through. It's going to be messy, but they can fight through that. But the lightning is a problem because hardly nothing can go on when there's lightning happening around the area. So let's hope that doesn't happen. And the conversation continues in the chat. That's okay. I like it, man. You guys definitely bring up good points too. So I think Alex catches it and puts him in sleep. Yeah. What did Antoine say? I think styles make fights. Yeah, I thought Volkov won that. Yes, I'm not biased or anything. Yeah, I think yeah, the rain, man. The rain is a thing. Dana don't care. He would have had them fight in the cold and windy weather. I'm actually surprised this is happening because, Dana hates fights outside. So this is definitely only happening because Trump wants it to happen. Otherwise, I don't think it would continue. I don't think it would be happening otherwise. So yeah, it's a damn shame, but yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, moving on. Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim. Like I said, I felt like this was a pretty decent card. I wasn't sure about it at first, and then when I was really like getting into the nitty gritty of, I'm excited to see outside fights. To be honest, I don't care about politics. Yeah, me either, man. I'm just excited for these matchups, and I hope that we're able to see them happen because obviously there's big talks about Gon and Pineda, and then obviously. Dana's a liar. You can't believe all of what he says. No, that's true. But yeah, I just hope that it's able to happen, and not because of this lawsuit thing, but because of the weather. That's going to be the biggest problem. So we'll see. But yeah, after I started kind of going over this card and really looking into it further, I felt like there were some good matchups here. So we wound up having only 2 finishes in the main card, and 3 decisions for the final 3 fights of the night. But obviously the fight of the night went to the co-main event, so that's a good sign. I feel like the main event wasn't bad. It was a little one-sided, but obviously we went to decision there. And then Faraz Zaim versus Tom Nolan was a decent fight as well. So let's see, but he's gonna be slow at heavyweight. There's not a heavyweight faster than Cyril Gane. You think there's a good chance Lewis lands one shot early since Hokett's chin? He just fought an all-time heavyweight war just 2 months ago. Yeah, I think here's the thing though. Hokett has wrestling, man, and he's athletic as hell. And so, as much as I hate to admit it, because I don't really like Hokett that much, I feel like Derek Lewis has a big problem in front of him, and I think that if Lewis doesn't get it done quickly, he's gonna get frustrated and do what he always does. And I don't want to say he quits, but
my balls was hot.
His balls get hot early, and it slows him down, and then he wants to go to the back and cool him off. So you don't know what he will be slow from training footage. 10 round spar to the round recorded. He will see. Hokett has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He does. I think Lewis just folds as usual. That's not, yeah, that's the problem. Unfortunately, Lewis has a track record of that. He does pretty much give up when adversity hits. Yep. If Hokett wins, he's going to face Volkov in a title eliminator, probably. That's against training partners who apply no footwork. Paul Gane is the best forward in the division. Whew, man, Antoine, you are riding hard for Gon. Holy shit, bro. But I get it, man. I like the discourse in the chat, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm just surprised. And my G, like I said, we'll see. If you don't like Gon, that's fine. Yeah. Remember, Antoine, though, I mean, if you don't agree, that's fine too. You know what I mean? It's just like, but I see it just keeps going. Gon has good footwork against terrible strikers with no technique. Tom Spivak, Lewis. Francis too. He's not technical at all. Yeah. Yeah. It's just gonna keep going. It's fun though, man. That's what we do, is though we got to talk about the fights, you know what I'm saying? And that's an interesting fight, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more talk about that too. Praying everyone is safe at the White House. Very dangerous to have a huge event. Like, yes, that's exactly was my point when this first got announced. Yeah. I was gonna shorten your name by calling you dummy, and I'm like, I can't do that. MMA ventriloquist. Yeah, that was actually my point. You know, I was like, dude, having all these high ranking people in the government being there, it's tricky, man. And I know it's the White House, it's supposed to, but look, I mean, we've had shots fired over there recently, and things, you can call me dummy. Yeah, so it's hilarious, man. I always try to shorten people's names a little bit so I'm not having to say the whole name the whole time. But yeah, with that one, I was just like, damn, I can't just call him dummy, and I can't just call him MMAs. It's dummy like the Goosebumps doll, not like the Tum Tum. Okay, got you. Right on. Appreciate the clarification. Thanks for jumping in and interacting too. I appreciate it. You've just said it's not about technique at the heavyweight division, followed by Gon is, oh shit, here we go. Okay, so so yeah, that is a problem, and I am worried about that too. Joe Rogan, you know, voiced his opinion on that as well. So let's just hope for the best, man, because obviously it's happening. So let's just hope for the best with this White House card. But back to Belal versus Bonfim. Let's get into it and start. You know, I always start with the main. I've been starting with the main card. We'll go from the bottom to the top of the main card. We'll hit that main event last in the main card portion, and then we'll hit the prelims, and then we'll go into the fight predictions and see how well the Fight Wheel predicted fights as compared to my predictions. So yeah, let's get into it. Iwo Baranowski did what Iwo Baranowski does. And so did Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa, man, I hate to say that this is what the Tafa brothers do, but it kind of is, you know what I mean? It's kind of like talking about, you know, it's kind of like talking about Derek Lewis, where we say, you know, he faces adversity and he kind of quits. And I hate to say that he quits because he's a great fighter and we've seen what he can do, but we also seen him just fold at any sense of not getting his way. And he's kind of like a, you know, like a toddler in that point where he's like, you know, his balls get hot and he takes his shorts off. That's what a kid does. and much love to my boy Derek Lewis. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna see me wearing a Derek Lewis shirt come fight night because it's an American ass shirt, and I got it, and that's the only fight shirt I really have at the moment, by choice kinda, but it was a gift, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna wear that shirt. But and I am a Derek Lewis fan, but I gotta call a spade, and that is you know, that's what he does. So yeah, so anyway, back to Iwo Baranowski and Junior Tafa. Tafa does that, man. That's what happens. He got his legs kicked out from under him. They were big leg kicks, and you know, I have to say that those leg kicks were the end of him, and he just couldn't handle it. I thought you were gonna wear a Mortal Kid shirt. Hell no, I'm not wearing that shirt. Hell no. I've been a Derek Lewis fan for way too long. Where does Belal go from getting schooled? Oof. Oh man, I'll talk about that a little bit when I get to it. I don't know where he goes from here, man, because just where it's tough. It's tough. I'll talk about it here in a minute. But yeah, Iwo did what he does, man. TKO in the first round, a minute 25 seconds into the fight. this is what Baranowski does. He gets a performance of the night bonus there. That puts him at 9-0 and makes him 3-0 in the UFC. So every one of his fights in the UFC have been finished in the first round as early as 28 seconds in, as long as 1 minute and 29 seconds. So every single fight has been finished in the first round by TKO, and every single fight has had a performance of the night bonus. So Baranowski's the truth, man. He did it as well in his Contender Series fight, where he faced a little bit of adversity, but he went to war in 20 seconds, as much as you can. And in round 1, he gets the TKO, and yeah, he gets a first round finish there. If you look at the rest of his fights, almost every fight is a first round finish in the recent past. So Baranowski, you know, he's a badass, and I mean, going up against Junior Tafa, who hasn't shown the best, you know, yeah, it's not like super impressive, but Iwo versus Alonzo, ooh, I would like to see that fight, dummy, honestly. That would be a good ass fight. Yeah, Antoine's cool, man. He's just he's passionate sometimes. I'm stupid. I'm actually a dummy. I took Ziam. Oh fuck, dude. So did I. I'm not gonna lie. I did too, man. So you're not the only one. But back of the head strikes. But oh, you guys are still talking about that part. I was just looking at what I missed. No, man, you guys are good. Like, I honestly, I appreciate the banter and I appreciate the interaction, and yeah, it's for sure. It's, you guys are both putting good points out there, honestly, and I'm only getting distracted because I'm actually like reading what you guys are saying so that I see what points are actually being made. So don't get me wrong, I like it, you know, but you guys can have that battle. We'll talk more into it when we get to it on Thursday, but I appreciate the, you know, you guys getting to the same level too, though, and not just being assholes about it, because that's the one thing I do see that I hate seeing in the chat is people being dumbasses to each other in there. So, you know, good banter back and forth is good. Belal should fight Kevin Holland. Oh, ooh, you know, maybe that's not a bad thing. Yeah, but anyway, Junior Tafa he's just back to what he does, man. I mean, he looked okay in his last fight. What just happened? Oh my god, dude. If it's not one thing, it's another right now. Let's go. Stupid pop-ups on Tapology. Junior Tafa is now 3-6 in the UFC. He won his last fight against Kevin Christian by TKO back in May. Back in May. Shit, that wasn't that long ago. I forgot that he fought just recently. It was a first round finish for him. Hey, thank you, Gordy. I think it's Gordy, but yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping in and adding your 2 cents and stuff. I always like when someone new comes in and enjoys the stream. I just like talking about fights, man. So, you know, and the chat makes it more fun because you guys interact with me, I interact with you, and it's good shit. So thank you, appreciate the sub. But yeah, Tafa in his last 4 is 1-3, and he got subbed twice before he got that win over Kevin Christian, and now he got finished by Iwo Baranowski. So those leg kicks were killer for Tafa, and Baranowski does it again, 3 fights in a row. So let's move on to the Bryce Mitchell versus Santiago Luna fight. You know, this one, I think Belal should try to move down to 155. Oof. Maybe. Could he make it down there though? I mean, I've seen some tough weight cuts from him in the past. So maybe. But yeah. Bryce Mitchell versus Santiago Luna. You know, Mitchell picked up a win at the end of the 3rd round, 4 minutes and 52 seconds into the 3rd round. So Luna had a few seconds to just hold out, man, and he just couldn't. So he got submitted. The arm triangle choke by Bryce Mitchell. We all know that Bryce Mitchell's good on the ground. He handed Santiago Luna his first loss of his career. He came in 8-0, undefeated, 21 years old, and you know, he showed some toughness and some confidence in there. You know, he did some things early on against Mitchell, but Mitchell's wrestling and top control just overwhelmed him, and you know, slowly took over the fight. Hats off to Luna for taking such a short notice call up and being so young. Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, he's definitely got plenty of time to come back from this, you know. Let's just see how he bounces back from that first loss of his career. He's never had to, you know, deal with that loss in his professional career, so now he does in the highest level too. So as long as he doesn't let that get him down too much, I think he'll be okay. He showed some promise in that fight, and I actually thought that he was going to take over at one point, but like I said, Mitchell's wrestling and top control just took over. And while it got a little boring a little while in there, you know, he just controlled for a long time, man. And yeah, he just looked like the Bryce Mitchell of old, you know. And instead of trying to fight on the feet and do what he doesn't do best, he did what he does do best, and that is taking people down and holding them down there. So, you know, he kept working all the way through. That's why he got that last minute submission. And, you know, a lot of guys to that effect don't do that. They'll see the dominance they have and they'll just say, let me ride this out so nothing bad happens. And Mitchell took a chance and wound up locking up that sub last seconds of the third round. So Mitchell puts up another win by submission. That puts him at 2 in a row, if I remember correctly. No. Yeah, 2 in a row, because he beat Said Nurmagomedov by decision, and then he had that a couple of grappling matches in there, but now he came back and beat Santiago Luna by submission. So decent fight there. I mean, like I said, it got a little boring there after a while because it was just Mitchell on top, but then it got exciting at the end where, you know, Bryce should fight Peyton next. That could be tough, actually. Yeah, not too bad of a shout, I guess. Moving on though, to that the fight we were talking about earlier, Faraz Ziam versus Tom Nolan. Man, I did go with Faraz, and that's because you know, I've seen him do some. He's on a 6-fight win streak, man. Oh shit, I didn't change it. He was on a 6-fight win streak, and Tom Nolan was on a 4-fight win streak. So I'm thinking, okay, Ziam, you know, I've seen him do some good stuff in there. His striking's pretty decent, and you know, he's got good stats all the way around. You know, he's 6-0 by TKO. He was 5-3 by sub, and 7-2 by decision. You know, we've seen him with some dynamic striking and stuff like that. But you know, Tom Nolan just took over, man. I mean, he was able to edge it out. He got the unanimous decision win over Faraz Ziam, but and he breaks that 6-fight win streak and puts him at a 5-fight win streak. So, you know, and that kind of stops the hype train of Ziam for the moment. You know, he had been getting wins by TKO and by decision on that 6-fight win streak. His last fight was a TKO over Nazim Sadikov. So, you know, Tom Nolan comes in here, beats him by unanimous decision. That's how he goes, man. Tom Nolan's 11-1, Ziam's 18-5. It was a tough match, but Tom Nolan comes out the winner and extends his win streak to 5 and stops Ziam's at 6. So Ziam has to bounce back now and see how he can put together another win streak, get himself back on track. Also, speaking of getting older, like you said earlier, I turned 27 in an hour. Shit is crazy. Oh shit, happy early birthday, Antoine. Happy early birthday, man. I hope you have a good birthday. I hope you celebrate and
Smoke weed every day.
And yeah, happy birthday to you, man. 27. Shit. Yeah, it feels like you're getting older at 27, but wait till you turn 37. And then you're like, damn. But yeah, enjoy the times, man, because once that 30 hits, things change a little bit, and then you can still have some fun throughout there, but then you start worrying about different things at 30. But yeah, you're still 20. Enjoy those last few years of 20, man. It's worth enjoying. So just can't believe 30 is 2 years away. I get it, man. I was the same way. 27 came and went so fast, it was nuts. Next thing I know, I was 30. I hear Connor and John doing a song called Duke. That'd be a good one, Johnny. Anyway, back to the fights. Moving over to Brendan Allen versus Edmund Shabazian in the co-main event. You know, this one got fight of the night, and that's because they went back and forth. You know, it was a bloody fight. It was a hard fought co-main event, and you know, the scorecards came back for, you know, a unanimous decision win for Brendan Allen. You know, he took the risk against somebody who was not ranked as high as he was for Brendan Allen, and you know, he was on a 3-fight win streak. Shabazian was, and you know, he was just kind of looking good in his previous fights. So he won by TKO over Dylan Budka, beat Petrosky by decision, and beat Muniz in his last fight in the first round by TKO. But he had a hard fight against Brendan Allen, and he unfortunately lost for him. But you know, early on, Brendan Allen came out with the pressure, man. The big leg kicks, heavy combinations, and you know, Shabazian, he had some moments here and there. You know, his jab and his counters were working for him early on, but as the fight went on, you know, Allen just kept pushing that volume and the clinch work, and then, you know, the pace. He just kept the pace on him. So Brendan Allen's going lost in his next fight, regardless if it's Kyle or Joe. Personally, I felt mentally 30 since I was 24 years old now. Not even exaggerating, just what my older friends have told me. Oh yeah, I get it. I mean, I kind of get that vibe from you too, Antoine. So, you know, sometimes when you feel like you're older than you are and people perceive you that way, when you get to that age, you kind of get to feel a little bit younger. That's kind of, it works backwards like that sometimes, but you know, yeah, it's a crazy thing, man, when you get to that age. Sean Mick and Hunter should be ashamed of themselves for matchmaking at its worst. Oh shit, Johnny. I know a lot of people say that, but it's just what I've had my mind on since graduating from college and things I know I have to do. Yeah, just keep your head on straight, man, and keep going in the direction you're going, and good things will happen for you, man. Seems like you got your head on right, so keep that going. But as far as this fight, like I said, Allen just dominating after a while, and just kind of took over in the fight. And you know, Allen's pressure was just relentless, opening that cut up on Shabazian in the third round, and he just kept kind of hitting him with elbows and stuff. That's the thing, Brendan Allen will throw everything at you: elbows, punches, knees, kicks, as you see that knee in that top picture. And yeah, he even got a takedown at the end of the round and at the end of the fight. It was just a tough performance for him, and it earned, you know, the fight of the night for both of them too. So, you know, Brendan Allen proved why he's in the position he's in, and Edmund Shabazian gave him a good fight. Yeah, it was durability, you know, good cardio from Allen, and you know, and he fought a dangerous striker that you know, could have taken him out of his position. So Shabazian had his moments too, but you know, Allen just, you know, took over at the end there and gets his unanimous decision. So that was it for that one. The first two rounds were almost close in striking. Like when I was 23, I never thought I had time. If it was actually the opposite, I was super anxious. Can I ask you what you personally learned the most about life in your 20s? Dude, life in my 20s, I did a lot of things that probably shouldn't have been doing. Really in my 20s is when I learned my work ethic, and that work ethic mattered a lot. So yeah, that's what I learned. And then I learned what work ethic was and what a good work ethic is. And then I also learned what actual hard work was and how to apply yourself correctly. So once I got into my 30s, I had an idea, and then I implemented all those ideas in my 30s, and that's what got me to the point that I'm at now. So, you know, it's all a process, and sometimes some people just take longer to hit that process. I wish I could have hit some of where I'm at now back in my early 30s, so that I could have thrived a little more. But it is what it is. You know, it happens when it happens. You just got to keep working hard and keeping your mind straight on the things that matter. So that's really what I learned in that part. So yeah, anyway, congrats to Brendan Allen and Shabazian for getting that fight of the night bonus, and Allen for getting the win, and he just continues to roll, and Shabazian's got to go back to the drawing board. So what age taught you the most lessons? Probably my 30s, my early 30s. I learned a lot of things, work-wise, friend-wise, life-wise. A lot of big things happened in my early 30s. So not even just to me, but to people close to me, and I learned from all those experiences. So my early 30s definitely taught me a lot. I learned a lot throughout my 20s too, obviously, but in my 30s is when I was like clear-minded, really reeling in those lessons. So yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. But yeah, let's move on to that main event, and that puts us at Bonfim versus Belal. And yeah, for this one, man, I think Bonfim really just took over this fight, man. He won pretty much. Well, according to the judges, 50-45 all the way across the board. Got a lot of respect for you being a young father. My dad had my oldest brother at 17, then met my mom and had 2 more kids, being me and my other brother. Yeah, man, it's tough when you're younger. I mean, I was 20, but you know, I had a girlfriend when I was 15 that was 18 and had a kid. So from that point, I knew I loved that kid too. So from that point, I knew I wanted kids and I wanted to be a dad. So I was happy, even though it wasn't a plan to become a dad that early. I was happy when I became a dad. And yeah, 3 kids by 22 is crazy. I had 2 by that time, and yeah, that was a lot. But Bonfim should fight Morales next. I think that would be a damn good matchup, Johnny, honestly. I know I'm jumping back and forth here, but I like to answer the questions, and Antoine's always got some good ones. So but yeah, so as far as Bonfim goes, yeah, 50-45 across the board. No, it's all good, Antoine. It's all good. You know, I talk about things on here. If it's too deep, I won't say too much, but I'll always give some kind of an answer. So I appreciate it, man, as usual. But yeah, it wasn't really a close fight. I mean, I saw Muhammad get a couple good, you know, strikes in there. We saw him get that head kick against Bonfim, and if you saw Bonfim's face, you know, for a quick second, his eyes went a little crazy, his jaw went a little sideways, and then he clicked out of it pretty quickly, and he gathered himself and he was good. So but then, you know, Belal landed a couple other big shots on him too, but pretty much he, you know, Bonfim controlled the striking exchanges from start to finish for the most part. He landed sharp counters, punishing leg kicks, and he kept Belal, you know, from establishing too much of a rhythm, and you know, didn't allow him to really get his bearings when it came to the wrestling heavy part of his game. So I think Bonfim could have pressure more in the 4th and 5th round to get a finish. I think so too, man. I just think that those couple of big shots that Belal landed on him might have scared him off a little bit from doing that. So I think because he was on top so much and he knew it, that I think he just said, let's keep doing what we're doing. That's probably what his corner told him too. I don't recall hearing any of that, but you know, I could be wrong. The corner might have been calling for a finish, but maybe he saw something in there that no one else was seeing, and that was a possibility for Belal to catch him, because he did catch him with those couple big strikes. So, you know, that's kind of what happens sometimes, but I feel like he could have pushed a little harder, even in the 5th round, just even at the end, like, you know, take a little bit of a chance at the end. But, you know, then people would say, if he takes that chance and gets caught, people would say the dummy was winning every fucking round, and then he waits till the last round, takes a chance, and gets knocked out or gets submitted or something like that. You know what I mean? So I can understand him kind of coasting and just continuing to do what he was doing, but at the same time, I feel like I think he had the finish there waiting for him, but he just didn't want to take the chance. So Belal is on a 3-fight losing streak now. You know, he was on a 2-fight losing streak coming into this, but losing, you know, his belt to JDM, and then losing to and then losing. Who did he lose to the second? Fuck, I already forgot. Ian Machado Gary. So Usman lucky he didn't feel those Canelo hands. You think Gabriel fights for the belt at one point? I think he's well on his way, especially after beating Belal, who was a champion not that long ago. If you think about it, I know that the belt has changed hands quite a bit lately, but it wasn't that long ago that Belal was the champ. So with Bonfim just looking as good as he did, maybe he just caught Belal at the right time. Sorry. Maybe he just caught Belal at the right time. But when it comes down to it, you know, he did his damn, you know, he did the damn thing against him, and he looked really good doing it. So he should get jacked when he comes back. That would be a good fight too. But yeah, I just think that Bonfim, this was like a good turning point for Bonfim in the way that he's actually in the contender, you know, portion of the division now. Not that he maybe wasn't before, but now that he's beat a former champ that was a champ not that long ago, he may be on a losing skid, but it's two of the biggest names in the division. So Bonfim, you know, moves ahead and beats him. So yeah, I think that it's a good time for him to have gotten this win and put this name under his belt as a win. And Bonfim's got big things ahead of him. So now he's on a 5-fight win streak. He's 7-1 in the UFC and probably earned himself a spot in the top 5 after this one. So Muhammad's just on this losing streak, and it's like, what do we do now? You know, 3-fight losing streak. Of course, things can turn around for him, and there's no way the UFC is going to get rid of him. But you know, what does he do now? Because he's kind of at that age where it's like things can be way different from this point on if he doesn't turn something around, or you know, find something that's going to work for him. So it took him so long to even get a title shot, and then he finally does, and he can't hold on to the title. So that's a tough one for Belal, but that's just how it rolls sometimes. How would you rank Ian, Morales, Prates, Bonfim, and Medic? Man, I think Ian and Morales are right there neck and neck at number 1. Prates is right behind them. And then I think Bonfim and Medic are I think Prates is the only one that really stands alone. I think Bonfim and Medic are actually pretty neck and neck as well as far as where they are. And but I think Ian and Morales are I think Ian's got a better strength of schedule, but Morales has a lot of he just looks like a beast. So you think any of them have true star potential? I mean, Ian's got those problems with his wife and the taking the wife's name and all that. So that's tough for Ian. I think Morales has some things in the background too that people don't seem to like much. So that one's tough. Prates, I think, has real star power and potential. And then yeah, Bonfim and Medic are just, I don't know, man. I think the other 3 definitely have more potential than Bonfim and Medic. They just don't have those qualities that Morales and Gary and Prates have. You know, Prates with the smoking and the just not give a shit kind of attitude, and then Ian Gary with, you know, his dedication to the art and the Brazilians and just his fight style and stuff, and then Morales just being a beast and being different, you know. So I think a lot of that is potential. So also, now that Conor's officially coming back, how do you feel about it with the current landscape of MMA? I think it's good. I mean, it sounds like the tickets are selling quickly for the next card with him on it, International Fight Week. So yeah, we'll see what happens after this fight, because after this fight, if he loses bad, I think he's still gonna have a bit of that power to bring in the eyes and put asses in the seats. But I think if he loses again after that, and you know, it's gonna be a tough one for him. So Prates should get endorsement deals with Newport. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think Conor coming back is good for the sport right now, but is it really, how good is it's good for popularity, but for the actual sport itself, I don't know. We'll see how all this time off and the injury and all that shit has affected him. I'm just curious to see what the quality of the fight will be. So yeah. Okay, that does it for the main card. Let's go over the prelims real quick. We started off with a finish early on in the prelims with Ketlin Souza beating Ariane Cornelosi a minute and 34 seconds into the first round. Souza made that perfectly timed head kick and dropped Cornelosi after she kind of pieced her up with the hands, and as you see, dropped her, and then was able to get that finished on the ground a minute and 34 seconds in. So yeah, big head kick for Ketlin Souza. Starts off the night with a big knockout win. Then we get to a second women's fight in a row. Gisela Chavez versus Eunice Dubin. We had a split decision win here with Chavez continuing on her undefeated streak, coming in at 6-0. She moves up to 7-0 with the win over Dubin. It was a hard-fought split decision win over Dubin. It was competitive throughout the 3 rounds. I forgot to change. My bad. It was competitive throughout the 3 rounds, but coming out 29-28 from 2 of the judges, Chavez gets the win over Dubin and remains undefeated. So not too bad of a second fight there. And then we move over to the men. After 2 women in a row, we get Joanderson Brito versus Jordan Levitt. And Brito just came out and reminded everyone about his dangerous finishing abilities, coming in against Jordan Levitt, who has has a good ground game and is able to tie people up in submissions at times, but Brito seemed to be too much for him. This is Levitt's second loss at TKO, and then that puts him at 6-4. Oh, I'm sorry, not TKO. I was reading that he was 2-0 by TKO, but he got subbed. So this makes for his 3rd submission loss. Man, I'm getting ahead of myself. By Joanderson Brito. And Brito, he's good on his feet, but man, he's got the submission skills too, good on the ground. And Jordan Levitt, like I said, he's got skills on the ground as well, but it was no match for Brito at the moment. Brito is 9-1 by submissions. So this puts him at 7-3 and puts him on a 2-fight win streak. He locked up that front choke late in the opening round and got the submission at 4 minutes and 19 seconds of the first round. So yeah, that's a good win for him. Puts him at 2 wins in a row after a couple losses in a row. So Brito back on the win streak, and Jordan Levitt drops his first loss after two wins in a row. He had subbed Kurt Holloway, got a performance of the night bonus there, and then had a decision over Yadier Del Valle in his last fight, and now he lost to Joanderson Brito. So his last loss was a submission as well to Chase Hooper. But yeah, that brings us back over to the women. I didn't know TKO were MMA coaches. Practice should get endorsed. Oh, I didn't know TKO were MMA coaches. What do you mean? I'm not following, Johnny. Sorry. Clarify. Yeah, but Chelsea Chandler, I doubted her completely. I was making fun of her for running away in that one fight a while back, but yeah, against Priscilla Cachoeira, of all people, who is a tough fighter. She looks the part. She definitely has some decent power, and she just looks vicious. She's 8-1 by KO TKO, and but 0-5 by sub and 5-3 by decision. She was on a 2-fight losing streak coming into this, so I mean, I shouldn't have thought Michael Chandler cousin going to win the bantamweight title next year. I don't even know anything about that. What? Michael Chandler's cousin? Who is that? Oh, you're talking about Chelsea Oh my God, I'm so dumb. I'm slow here. What the fuck am I? My bad, Johnny. I got you. But yeah, Cachoeira was on a 2-fight losing streak, so now this puts her at a 3-fight losing streak. She lost TKO to Jocelyn Edwards, a decision to Claudia Segula, and now a submission loss to Chelsea Chandler in the first round. And that was the armbar submission there, as you can see. Chandler, oh shit, I just clicked on the wrong thing. Chandler was on a 2-fight losing streak of her own before this, so now that puts her back in the win column and gives her a finish in the first round. Shout out to Chelsea. You can tell she's channeling a new mindset. Yeah, she definitely looked better in this fight than I had seen her in the past, because that loss against Norma Dumont and Jocelyn Edwards, I mean, those were tough. And, you know, she had some issues with weight in between those fights. But, yeah, she definitely turned it around. And, you know, she landed some strikes on Cachoeira, as you can see in that top picture. And then she got that nasty armbar in the first round. You still think she's not UFC caliber? No, I was just, man, the way that she looked yeah, she's turning it around hopefully, but I'm still not a big fan of hers, honestly. I don't like her fight style much. So yeah, but good for her for proving me wrong. Moving on, we had Edgar Chairez versus Bruno Silva. And this one is kind of went how I thought it might. I was, you know, betting that Chairez would get the win here. He got a good submission win over Bruno Silva. You know, he was able to get that rear naked choke in after he kind of had, you know, some good positioning. Do you think it would ever be smart to run like that in a street fight? Well, yeah, in a street fight you can run because there's space. Running in a cage is stupid because you're going to hit the other side of the cage regardless at some point. Or else if you're trying to run in circles, they'll cut you off at some point. There's not too many places to run in a cage, you know what I mean? But yeah, impressive performance by Edgar Chairez. 4 minutes and 13. A lot of late first round finishes, but first round finishes, man, you can't, I mean, you gotta love it. Chairez gets a performance of the night bonus with his rear naked choke over Bruno Silva, and and yeah, he gets the big win there. So that brings us to Marcus McGee versus John Yanis. Marcus McGee looking good in this fight. Solid decision victory over John Yanis. And you know, his experience, he was the cleaner, you know, he was the cleaner striker, overall control to get the win here. And you know, he was coming off a loss to Piotr Jan by decision. Before that, he was on a big win streak, a 6-fight win streak before he met with Jan and lost by decision. Now he turns it around and beats Yanis by decision, puts him to 11-2. Good win for him, gets him back in, you know, in the win column. Yanis is now 1-2 in the UFC. He lost his first fight against Austin Bashi by sub, beat Jamie Siraj by TKO, and then lost now to Marcus McGee by decision. So still has some time to, you know, show something. He's 10-5 overall, so Yanis will come back and we'll see what he does with that. Last but not least, we got Alessandro Costa. I asked you last time about being in a bar fight. I still listen to that pod. Yeah, man, I definitely got some stories from back in the day, but not all of them are able to be on the the podcast. Don't want to implement myself. It was a long time ago though, so some crazy shit though. Anyway, Alessandro Costa versus Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell, man, he just bad luck in this one for him. Costa makes quick work of him. 2 minutes and 32 seconds into the first round, he gets the TKO win. Costa's pressure and striking was just too overwhelming for Schnell, leading to, you know, just yeah, a big TKO win for Costa. Basically, you know, made him look bad. And it's a tough one for Schnell. He's 17-11 overall, 7-9 in the UFC. This puts him at 2 losses in a row. He lost his last fight against Joseph Morales by submission. In his last 6-7 fights, he's 1-6, and every fight that he's lost has been a finish. I'm sorry, 1-5. One of those is a grappling that he lost as well. but every other one is every time he loses, he gets finished. His only win in between there was Jimmy Flick, and that was a decision win. So Matt Schnell is on a tough streak, man. But Costa putting in the work, getting the win. That puts him on a 2-fight win streak. Both TKO wins in his last 2 fights. He got a performance of the night bonus in his last fight against Stuart Nickel by TKO. And before that, he lost to Alden Correa by TKO. But yeah, he's on a good 2-fight win streak now, making it look easy against Matt Schnell with the first round finish. And that does it for the prelims. Jake Paul proved you can run in a fight and be competitive. I guess if you call being competitive getting your jaw fucking broken, you get caught sooner than later, like I said. Let's take a look at the fight predictions between me and the Fight Wheel, and we actually tied. It was 4-1 for both of us. Have you ever been threatened to get jumped, Biggie? Yes I have, and I almost did full on get jumped a couple of times, but luckily I had friends that came to my rescue, which was good. But yeah, never been jumped, thankfully. We kind of had a group of guys against a couple of us, and that got ended quickly too. So I guess technically we kind of got jumped, because it was like at least more than 2-1 against all of us. But yeah, it wasn't it didn't turn into anything crazy. So yeah, but we both picked Gabriel Bonfim to beat Belal, so we both got that one right. We both picked Brendan Allen to beat Edmund Shabazian. We both got that right. I picked Ziam to beat Nolan. The Fight Wheel predicted Nolan, and so the Fight Wheel got that one right. I got that one wrong. I got Bryce Mitchell, and the Fight Wheel predicted Luna, so I got that one right. And then we both predicted Ewo for the win in the first fight on the main card. So 4-1, not bad for either of us, honestly. So yeah, I mean, Fight Wheel and myself have something that's a tough record to beat for the next fight. So we'll get some more predictions and see how I do against the totally random Fight Wheel predictions for the UFC White House card coming up next week. And that show will happen on Thursday, and that I will be out of town, so we'll have a different backdrop, but same show. We'll be doing the damn thing, and same time, same place, as you know. So tune in on Thursday for the preview of the White House card. Anything else big happens in between now and then, and if I have time, I might go live before that. But otherwise, I'll just be prepping. I'm going to try to make some more content for the socials as well. Those have been scrolling at the bottom. And yeah, I'm on TikTok and Instagram the most, on Facebook as well. I'm not on X that much, but I post every once in a while. Mostly just promo for the show. But yeah, and then you can listen to audio only if you want to on Spotify as well. You can get the video there too, but I prefer if you watch the video on YouTube, so we get the, you know, the views and the likes. Please make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully that's the end of that. The rest of the show was good, so I don't know. OBS was just being tricky. So but yeah, make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here, and if you're not subscribed, please do that as well, and hit that notification bell so you know when I put out any content or go live. How long does it take you to pack? It depends on what I've been able to get done ahead of time. Today I've got a decent amount of stuff done already, so that's good, but I like to make sure I cover all my bases. So what's your necessity for packing for your job? Mainly just the work clothes. All my tools and stuff are in my vehicle, which I have at my home, so that makes it easier, but then I have to pack up all my stuff in here. Really, it's just my Stream Deck, my laptop, and my extra monitor, and a couple other little things, but that's it. Luckily, I've been able to build up a travel kind of bag of stuff that's pre-packed. So, but I still have to break this stuff down and get it done. So, it's about a 4.5 hour, 5 hour drive to get there, and then I got to show up and work for a few hours before I hit the hotel. So, half a day of driving, half a day. Do you fill up the tank before or on the way? Before, and then I fill it up again right before I get there, because then I'll be too low on gas when I get there, and we're way out in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Yeah, I'm always listening to podcasts. If not podcasts, it's live streams that I'm watching on Twitch, because I like to watch a lot of IRL streams and stuff. I don't watch too many of the gaming streams, but yeah. But most of the time I'm just listening to podcasts and shit, trying to keep myself awake. I switch between podcasts and music, play it loudly. Yeah. But anyway, that's it for me. I'm off to pack, get ready for my out of town work. Thanks for all the interaction in the chat, guys. Appreciate all of it, and thanks for the support as usual. That's it for me. Come back on Thursday. Do you watch Dean the Great? No, because I really don't like Dean. He's pretty fucking annoying, and I feel really bad for Adrian Broner. I don't like the way that Dean the Great kind of, you see the brother type of thing happening there, but I also think that Dean the Great's just kind of annoying and deserves the shit that he gets. So but I see his clips all the time. That's enough for me. I don't like to watch much more of that. I watch a lot of Twitch, not Kick as much. So yeah, I gotta go, Antoine. My bad. I'm sorry. We could talk about it again on the next one. Adrian is a mess right now. I do feel really bad for him, and I hope that he kind of cleans it up. I don't think this streaming shit is doing good for him. I don't think Dean, yeah, he is always drunk. Yeah, that's what's bad. And I think Dean is trying to get him to stop, but yeah, I don't think that's working out well for him. And the environment that Dean the Great puts Adrian Broner in is not the best, and I think that's the problem. So but yeah, those are my thoughts on that quickly, and we can talk about it more at another time. But that's it for me. I'm out of here. Have a good one. Come back on Thursday for the preview of the UFC White House card. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.